so it should...
It is.
It is. Come. Okay, so who wants to start with telling me what happened in the discussion group, what we came up with? Somebody, the one who took notes, usually the one who... Don't be shy, it's okay, you know. This is what Sangha means. This is what Sangha means. Sangha means you share. You share your pains, you share your joys. Especially the pains you share, but we're not very ready to share our pains. We're quite happy to see when we finish the retreat and there's so many frustrations and are very inspired, then we usually tell others, but then when we're totally uninspired, then we're not so good at sharing. Same as Facebook, isn't it? We only share the good moments and the good photographs. Yeah.
So I will share. We found it quite challenging to find the disadvantages of the bodhicitta.
Okay.
Sounds really wonderful to have a bodhicitta mind.
Mm-hmm.
So still I would say the slight difficulty that we did find was that sometimes maybe being or having a bodhicitta mind would mean debating or going against the stream or being in the edges of the society maybe, and maybe we'll have to be the nudnik, the one that yes, bringing up the flag, like this. I have to say something. I have to say something about things that are going on for the sake of the other sentiments.
Okay. Yeah, you can be the nudnik and you can bring up the flag, but not with anger.
No, we didn't talk about anger at all.
Yeah, no, but I usually, when I look at people who go for something, they're usually very strong against something, and that would not be a bodhisattva behavior.
Yeah, actually we did talk about
exactly,
that.
because the example came up of, I brought, vegan, non-harming to animals,
yes.
but the activism is...
Yeah.
Can be, it's a world that I'm in a little bit, kind of, but the activism doesn't mind getting carried away with getting very angry and furious and hating and stirred up all this, which we know this negativity is not going to benefit us and not others, but then you can't kind of, join the party in a way.
Right.
And I think it's true in political realms, where it's like who can be the nastiest, who can defeat their enemy and make them submit the most, and we can't engage in that way.
It's a nice story about Inbal from Enapso. You know her. So they were demonstrating to farmers because there were no health and all this. So then at the same time there was a counter demonstration for animal lovers, and so they attacked her. She's a vegetable farmer. She kept saying, please, don't be angry with me. I only grow vegetables. Do you think they listen to her? No, they're like, animals. They're growing potatoes and flowers and pineapples. So this is what I mean. One is, if you're very strong for something, you also have a tendency to be very strong against something.
But then you are not having a mind of a bodhicitta.
That's what I mean. So it is, bodhicitta is especially about developing your mind, having attitudes. I wish I could help now the meat eaters and the vegans. And I wish I could do something now in order to, to benefit them. And then the benefit is always, to make them aware of their negative actions and in an inspiring way, so that they listen. Not because then on purpose they do the opposite because they hate you. Because I'll show you, I'm not afraid of you, I'll eat as much meat as I want, or something like that. It's really amazing when I became a nun, and also my friends that I went to visit sometimes. Well, there's a strong habit of killing mosquitoes, right? It's like, if it's mosquito, just go, boom. And at one point we were, and those friends of mine, they're all leftists, and most of them are vegetarians, and against the system, and with me when I was 18 in the streets demonstrating against the Vietnam War, and so we were just talking about the World Bank and about how, how there seem to be rich people who don't care about the poor ones, that is not really being taken care of, that those are very intelligent people who are kind of managing this huge sum of money, but it's not big. And so then we were discussing it, and he went, and I said, oh. He said, well, yeah, it's just the mosquitoes. So I think this is what these rich people say. Oh, yeah, it's just people. This is where it starts, you see, like this kind of putting beings into categories. These are worthy to be looked after, and these are not. And this is why this is so wonderful when it says all sentient beings. So we don't have to kind of check, oh, should I be concerned about them in a good way or not? It's like, yes. But again, we have a tendency to take it down to worldly activities, not really that. In our worldly activities, we check our motivation while we're doing something, and we really think, is it also going to benefit the one that is right now in front of me, or is it only benefiting somebody else? By all means, I do not want to put these organizations down, because in the West now we have become really, really aware of how animals suffer. But also, why do they suffer? Because of our totally going overboard. That we need meat every day, 3 times a day, and then we need to meat, and then people want to earn money with it, so only having 10 cows is not paying anymore, so you need to have 200, and then you make these animal factories and all that. It's also due to our greed, due to our choice that we want to have, due to if you do eat meat, you only want this piece and not another one. How many of you have been in India? Okay. Have you seen the Indian butchers? It's a small kiosk where somebody's sitting cross-legged. Next to him is handing half a goat. You go and say, I want 2 kilos. Do you think he asks you which part? He just cuts whatever is lowest, and that's what you get. And then you cook it, and that's meat, and that's it. Here we want the filet and the goat and this and that, and So this is it. So actually in Bern now we have of young people, we have one butcher. They're young people, they have their own animals, and either you go and buy whatever is there because they sell the whole thing and nothing gets thrown away, or they don't sell even anything. So now it's also going that direction. It's still, animals have to be killed. Yeah, so I'm not saying it's good, but this, yeah, so this is it. Also, again, sometimes as vegetarian one can become very proud and very arrogant, totally forgetting that there's a huge amount of insects dying because we have to eat vegetables. Because the fields are getting plowed, things are getting sprayed, these things are getting transported, where, the mosquitoes in the summer, you know how your windscreen looks when you drive in the summer. So again, like, just our existence is creating suffering. So this is, then we can put down our kind of arrogance a little bit of being vegetarian and vegan, and do as best as you can, but just in order to survive. And then, so to take these things where others suffer, at least we say, okay, I want to make my life worthwhile. I want to develop that mind. I want to go towards Buddhahood. Or if you're in the founder vehicle, which is sometimes called Theravada and sometimes called Hinayana, that also is a very good goal. I don't want to be reborn again and again and again and again. So Mother Earth has to feed one person less. You're not destroying anybody's peace of mind if you're not reborn. You don't need any resources. You don't need to travel. You're not polluting. So it's good. It's a good thing the world is rid of our mind who needs a body in order to survive. So don't think it's a bad goal. It's okay. It's great. Yeah. Then also again, if you take the car, look, if you want to have, if you want this to make worldly, then look at your activities. If you take the car, do I need to take the car? Maybe I can take the bus who is going anyway. If you have the air conditioned, maybe check first what temperature it is outside. Maybe you could, and especially now, maybe you could just open the window. Yeah, with the light, with everything else that we need. Also food waste. You know, also with vegetarians, there's an incredible amount of food that gets thrown away. So then again, you know, check that. Try to do your little thing. So it's not much, I know, and the world will not change. You know, us being vegetarian, I don't think that less meat is being produced. It is produced. Less animals are in factories.
Even in Argentina, 21% less than last one.
Okay, so but that's new because then it is so okay. Yeah. And a lot of this is like superfluous because we want choice, we want this, we want that. Also with the vegetables. Do you choose your vegetables when you go and buy them?
Of course.
Well, which ones would a Bodhisattva buy? You find it funny, but then you still don't do it. That's where you start. You buy the ones that are dented. You buy the ones that you need to cut off a little bit because nobody else buys them. The other day I was in the shuk and there was a banana, which is 2 bananas. So he had already put it aside because he thought nobody will buy that. I said, oh, I'll have that one. He said, oh, really? I said, yeah, it's 2 bananas in one. I mean, you have to pay by weight, so it's okay. Anyway, it's not by piece. But he was very surprised that I bought this voluntarily. So then, sure enough, where I was living, then I had to eat it because it was kind of a funny thing, 2 bananas in one. Yeah, so this is, you have this habit, you know, the best, only the best for me. And there if you overcharge. So this is why the prices go up and up and up and up, because we only buy the nice things. You know, and now that, with all these things where you can really choose. When I was a kid, you couldn't choose the vegetables. They were behind the counter, and then there was somebody, and you say 1 kilo of potatoes. So the woman or the man would be there and put them in a bag, like in India also. And that was it. No, now, like the time and the amount of time that people need to choose their cucumbers, I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So just try it out. This is your first thing as bodhisattvas. You put your hand in the heap of cucumbers, you take 2, 3, you don't look at them, you put it in the bag. Most of them are okay, really. Most of them are totally okay. And then try to, if at one point also shops are coming up, like we have in Switzerland, one is called Crooked and Healthy. That's where they take all these vegetables that nobody wants to buy, and it's like, one thing is much cheaper, and the other thing, it doesn't get thrown away. Or we have, you know, associations, which when there's too many tomatoes, they buy them, you can be a member of them, an app, and then all of a sudden the app comes, like tomatoes, like 2 tons, there and there, then you buy 10 kilos and you make sauce and you freeze it. Or you should shakshuka. Why does it always have to be totally fresh for us? Because only the best for me. Yeah. Because I only give the best of myself for others, so only the best for me. So this is where you start. This is where you start. Very small. But constant, like consistent, you know. And sometimes you might have a cucumber that half of it is rotten. Okay, what do you do with it?
Give it to the chicken.
You give it to the chickens if you have, exactly. Or if you have compost, you put it in the compost. In Switzerland now, with food, with like these things, they make biogas. You know, they come collect it once a week. But then you need to have a system where people keep to it. How are you with recycling?
We do the same in Israel.
Huh?
We have an factory that makes the food
into gas also. Yeah, exactly. So, but who collects it? No, somebody needs to collect it. So I saw you have these, you know, bodhisattva activities also is to really to really use these orange beans that you have now. And not like most of the people that I say, I was very happy when I saw them. So everybody that I said, wow, great, now you can have, you know, it's very simple to recycle metal, And then people say, yeah, but they put in there whatever they want. And then they don't use it. So you can put in there whatever needs to go in there. Even I understand, there's drawings. So it's very simple, and it's just a habit. It's a habit. So even other people put not the right things. If you can fish them out, put them where they belong. If not, then leave them in. But you start, and this is how it starts with the recycling system. That one one learns, and then one does it automatically. You know, like the country will maybe help you at one point, because in Switzerland we have to pay our garbage by volume, by, not by weight, but by liters, if you want. So we have to buy these bags, which are maybe for 30 liters is like $2 each. Then you start to recycle, because then you have much less. Otherwise it becomes quite expensive. So then, if you go into politics, you can bring this this system that whoever has a lot of garbage has to pay more. Then, at first, what happens is that people will dispose of it just outside in nature.
Yeah.
But slowly,
In Israel?
yeah, also in Switzerland. But slowly, because they find you. They have like garbage detectives, and they go through the garbage to find out where it comes from, and then you get huge fines.
Wow.
So then slowly, one changes the habit. One gets habituated that you have to pay for these bags, and you buy it, and that. So even in Switzerland, first it was just thrown out, so into the forest. Okay. So the disadvantage would be no disadvantage.
No, so in our group there was a lot of disadvantage.
Yeah,
we
it's
focused
like
on the disadvantage.
it's important to not to see the beauty of this whole thing, but you also need to see that hey, there's some disadvantages. Did you want to say more, or you're done with it? Okay.
So actually, what we said, that the advantage are really in the, as you mentioned, in the long term.
Yeah.
But if we are talking about the short term, so the main disadvantage is that most of us feel that the goal is so far-fetched. So a lot of sometimes even guilt that you are not acting the way that you want to act as a bodhisattva, the way. So, and although we know we don't need to be with guilt, but it's going this direction because we are not ready yet to give up our body or give up everything, and still samsara is not so repulsive to us that we want to give up everything, because yes, we're still having fun, we're still enjoying to choose something that is tasty for us. So in the short term, it's a bit. You feel a bit, I don't know how to say it, threatened from this idea sometimes, because it's so
huge.
Huge, yeah. So this is, we talked about a lot about the short-term disadvantage that you need to.
But then, don't get stuck in the short-term disadvantages,
so
because then you get
you
stuck.
Have as Ayala said, it's like a shining star that leads your way. You're in the path. I mean, it's always there to give you the direction.
Yeah.
For the long term.
Yes.
But in the short term, you fail sometimes. You're still in the samsara loop.
Exactly.
It's not that.
You fail, and then you think, okay, failed, try again. Failed, try again. Failed, try again. Samuel Beckett says, ever tried, ever failed.
Never failed.
Try again. Fail again. Try again. Fail again. And as you fail, learn to fail better. Yeah. Just keep doing it, keep trying, and to as you say, have this ideal there. It's it's a very high ideal. So the more you know that it's difficult and it's a high ideal, the less you get stressed, because you also know that it will take time. The less you should feel guilty. If you don't have too much arrogance, thinking I am special, I can do this in one lifetime. Yeah. So if you really honor the difficulty of it. And it gets easier as you go along. Yeah, it gets easier. So also sometimes traveling in India, like second class, not second class AC, just second class, and sometimes it's overbooked. So I would sometimes sleep on the floor between the berths. I was just happy that I didn't have to sleep in the corridor, and I would give my berth to somebody, and I would be very happy. These kinds of things. Now I'm old, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. But then you always have a sheet with you, or like this, put it on the floor and you lie down. Because I had travels where I had no ticket. Like I had no reservation because I used to do social work in Madhya Pradesh, and there they don't have tourist quota to go there. Yeah, so then most of the time it was like an overnight journey from Delhi. Most of the time I had no reservation, so you get chased away everywhere, you know. You can't even sit, so I know what it means. So when you know what it means, you're also more ready to say to somebody, okay, you can have it, especially when they're older than you, and then you go on the floor. Because I had nights I was next to a second AC, second class, not second AC, next to a toilet that was leaking. As I was sitting, I got wetter and wetter and wetter. But what can you do? You have to stay on that train, because otherwise you don't have a ticket, they throw you off. So at least the ticket I had, just not a reservation. So, you know, these were my worst nights. So if you know how that is, it's quite easy to give away, or to share, or to accommodate others, you know. And sometimes when we look, you know, in Indians, 5 people on one bed and they all sleep. One hanging on the chains, and the other one propped up like this, and one on the knees. But we, the Westerners, there, if somebody puts half of his bum on my berth, it's like, wow, go away, it's mine. This is where you start. One night, let them sit there. And also, if it's Indians, you have a lot of interest in letting them lie down, because that's what they will sleep. If they don't sleep, they talk the whole night, and you can't sleep anymore. I don't know if you have that, or they have the radio next to them, you know, full blast all night. Nobody says anything. Because noise in India is not considered something bad. It's kind of part of the picture. Loud music. This is India. Okay, so that's the disadvantage, that it's very, very challenging, and we have to give up on a lot of things. As you say, we're not really belonging to the mainstream society anymore. So this is why it's, you know, we have to think about the benefits and the advantages again and again and again. And the alternative which comes now, it is telling us the alternative if we do not keep up our bodhisattva, our vows or our promises. So then fear comes in. And fear can be quite a good motivator. If it's not panicky fear, and if it's like healthy fear, there is something like healthy fear. Yeah, so if you have diabetes, the healthy fear, if that's really healthy fear, and intelligent fear will prevent you from eating all these sweet things that you totally love. So is that good or bad? It's very good fear. Yeah. Or the fear of getting caught and being punished makes you kind of not rob a bank. That's good fear. Yeah, or cheat wherever you can. Yeah. Okay, then slowly, that fear changes into wanting to do it. And it changes into totally natural ethical behavior, for example. But we need that fear at the beginning. Otherwise, we don't even start transforming our mind because, as you said, it's difficult. Anybody else?
Also, I said that, like the example that you gave, I want to take some vows, but I'm afraid that I will fail. Mm-hmm. The entire example. So if you can please speak about it. What do you recommend us to take, which is not very challenging, but still will advance us?
Well, you know, the Bodhisattva vows are very difficult to keep, so you need to purify them again and again and again. Look through them again and again and again and again and say, oh yeah, this is not, this I still break, this I still break. But at least the vow of never giving up bodhicitta.
Oh.
Yeah? May I never give up the true bodhicitta. Ultimate and conventional bodhicitta. This one. May I always work on the mind of going on this path. Not going for self-liberation, but going for full enlightenment. So that's how you start, and then you look at the vows, you can study them, not like tantric vows. You can study them, and then you look at them, and you study them, and you try to practice it. You know? Usually one fails already the first one. The first one is praising oneself and belittling others. It's already there, you kind of, you know, that's the first vow.
What is it?
Praising oneself and belittling others. Yeah. But you see, you take vows, when you can keep them purely, you don't need vows anymore.
Yes.
You take vows because you have decided you want to go on this path. If you don't take the vows, you're not really entering the path. Because then, it's too difficult, so therefore I don't have the vows, I can still do that. Yeah, so we become very how to say? Not very serious in this whole thing. Very fickle. Yeah, very, very fickle. So, yeah, and vows are like, I read somewhere, very good example, when you learn how to ride a bike. Now it's not like this anymore because they don't have pedals, the kids, so they learn by balance. But when I was small, we had these little 2 support wheels. So those are vows, are those support wheels. So you are taking those vows so that it gives you a boundary, that you feel more secure. You know exactly, okay, this I cannot do. Even though you want to do it, but you know, this I cannot do. Yeah, so also these wheels, they make your bike very unflexible, actually. It's very difficult to go like this with these wheels. You have to go like that. Yeah. It takes a long time. You can't manipulate the bike like you can when you have no support wheels. Then when you know how to be ethical, then you take them off when it comes naturally. I found this a very, very good example. So usually we think vows are restrictions, is like a punishment. So vows on your spiritual path are a help to attain what you want to attain, if you want to attain something. So again, it comes down to the same thing. What do I want to attain? Where do I want to go?
It's like a replacement for strong determination, kind of, or not a replacement?
I think it's stronger than a strong determination.
Yeah.
You see, when you do newness, for example, in the morning you take vows for 24 hours not to eat and not to drink. And you do lots of prostrations during that day. If you, one day at home, you just say, okay, today I'm not going to eat and I'm not going to drink. If you're hungry and thirsty in the afternoon, you will drink and you will eat because you're thirsty. But if you have taken the vow, and on top of it, you usually do this in a group, and if you see everybody else is keeping that, then you have taken a vow, so you wait until the vow is finished. Yeah? So it is a strong determination, knowing where you want to go, but also making a promise is for us, then it makes it much easier to keep that promise if we do actually take a vow. So taking Bodhisattva vows, it's a ceremony. So you might not know it, but everybody who has taken initiation, you have Bodhisattva vows. They come in one parcel. You take refuge, you get Bodhisattva vows, and if it's highest yoga tantra, you get tantric vows. So you might not be aware of it, so at least now you know. So I don't think you get vows if you don't know what you're doing. You have to be honest. But that goes with every initiation. So if you practice tantra, you do have the Bodhisattva vows, if you have had initiations for those people. So then that means that you have to take care of them, you have to look at them, you have to then at least every morning, recite the prayer for kind of repairing them. And from time to time look at them and think, oh yeah, this I have to be more careful. Yeah. Because doing tantric practices without the wish to become a Buddha, this is dangerous. That really gets you into lower states in your next rebirth. If you just do it because it's interesting and it's special and you can feel your energy is moving up and down and all this makes you feel good when you dissolve into emptiness or you send out the light and all this, then all of a sudden we start to do it because of that. So then Buddhahood is very far away. We want to help now and then we get stuck in that again. It goes together. Tantric practices and the Bodhisattva path goes very much together. Yeah, without Bodhisattva path, tantric practices is useless. Yeah. Anything else that you want to share, that you said, that you came up with? You basically have to learn to be the happy friar. And you can learn. You can learn, as we said yesterday with the bus, when you were